Hello and good day, welcome to our YouTube channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be a fast, concise overview. Book of Isaiah, chapter 60. Let's get started now. Isaiah chapter 60 is a message of hope and restoration for the people of Israel. The chapter is filled with imagery of light and glory, pointing to a time when God's presence will shine on His people and the nations will come to their light. The chapter begins with a call to arise and shine, for the glory of the Lord has risen upon Israel. This is a message of encouragement to the Israelites who have been living in darkness and oppression. They are reminded that God's presence is with them and that they have a purpose to fulfill. The next verses describe how the nations will be drawn to Israel's light, bringing wealth and honor to the nation. This is a prophecy of the time when Israel will be restored to its former glory and will be a beacon of hope to the world. Verse 3 says, "Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn." This verse speaks to the idea that the glory of God's presence will be so strong that it will draw people from all over the world to Israel. This prophecy was partially fulfilled during the time of King Solomon when people came from all over the world to see the splendor of his kingdom. Verse 4 goes on to say, "Lift up your eyes and look about you, all assemble and come to you, your sons come from afar, and your daughters are carried on the hip." This verse speaks to the idea that the Israelites will be reunited with their exiled children who will return from afar. This is a message of hope for those who have been separated from their loved ones. Verse 5 describes the abundance of resources that will be available to Israel. "Then you will look and be radiant. Your heart will throb and swell with joy. The wealth on the seas will be brought to you the riches of the nations will come." This verse speaks to the idea that Israel will be blessed with prosperity and abundance as a result of their faithfulness to God. Verse 6 describes the multitude of camels that will come to Israel, bringing gifts of gold and incense. This verse is another prophecy of the nations coming to Israel to bring wealth and honor to the nation. Verse 9 speaks to the idea that God's presence will be with Israel in a tangible way. "Surely the islands look to me. In the lead are the ships of Tarshish, bringing your children from afar, with their silver and gold, to the honor of the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, for He has endowed you with splendor." This verse speaks to the idea that God's presence will be so strong that even the islands and ships from faraway lands will be drawn to Israel. The final verses of the chapter describe the idea of righteousness and justice prevailing in Israel. "I will make peace your governor, and well-being your ruler. No longer will violence be heard in your land, nor ruin or destruction within your borders, but you will call your walls salvation and your gates praise." This is a message of hope for a time when God's justice and peace will reign in Israel. The teaching application of Isaiah chapter 60 is the idea that God's presence is with His people, even in times of darkness and oppression. The chapter is a message of hope and restoration for those who have been separated from their loved ones, those who have been living in poverty, and those who have been oppressed by their enemies. The chapter also speaks to the idea that God's glory is so strong that it will draw people from all over the world to His people. This prophecy was partially fulfilled during the time of King Solomon, and it is a reminder that God's presence is not limited to a single nation or people. In conclusion, Isaiah chapter 60 is a powerful message of hope and restoration for God's people. It shows that God is faithful to His promises and that He will never abandon His children. The chapter speaks of the glory of Zion, a symbol of God's presence and power, and how the nations will come to honor and serve God. Isaiah 60 also highlights the importance of being a light to the world and spreading God's truth and love. We are called to shine like stars in a dark world and to bring hope and salvation to those around us. This requires us to be obedient to God's commands and to live our lives in a way that glorifies Him. Ultimately, Isaiah 60 points us to the ultimate fulfillment of God's promises in Jesus Christ. Through Him, we have access to the blessings and favor of God, and we can live with the hope and assurance of eternal life. May we all strive to live in the light of God's truth and to be a blessing to those around us, bringing glory to His name. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible chapter below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.